Oh, excuse me. That's a way to start a stream. Spoiler warning, one and all. This is your third and final warning. We will be discussing spoilers for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. We've already said so in the title. We've already said so in the description. We're only going to say it one last time right now. If you have not seen the movie, the archive of this stream will be waiting on the channel after you've seen it. If you don't care about spoilers, by all means, continue watching. With that out of the way, hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Bros. Movie review. I had to go there.
I know. I'm not saying anything against you.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. So, on April 8th, Brent and I went with some friends to watch the Super Mario Bros. Movie in theaters. And I have to say, compared to the disaster that was the 1993 film, which I happen to own on DVD, by the way, this one was a breath of fresh air. So let's get started.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well, where do we start?
At the beginning.
Yeah, no doubt.
And when you come to the end, stop.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Excuse me
yeah,
again.
as Gear definitely said, the movie is definitely a breath of fresh air compared to the original one that came out, which is actually very pleasing because with video game movies, you can go either way.
More often you go all the way down.
Well, technically, actually, you can go any way with like any sort of like movie, like based off video game, book, other types of things.
You can only go downhill with a live-action movie based on anime.
I agree with you if it was, but only for those that aren't made in Japan. Because I know a couple that actually are good.
Now, what's funny is that Death Note was made by Masaoka, a Japanese-American actor, and it's still fucked up Death Note. Like,
yeah.
it just like...
I said in Japan.
Yeah, I know. It's like, just Hollywood here in America, just stop with the live-action anime adaptations. Like, Illumination did good, and I'm gonna say, for someone who was a huge critic of Nintendo and Miyamoto himself, Shiggy did good this time around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we'll start with a base description of the movie. So essentially, the Mario Brothers are a pair of plumbers who live with their parents in Brooklyn. Well, their whole family, for that matter.
Yeah.
Having quit their job as wrecking crew specialists, they've started their own plumbing business, which everybody disapproves of.
Not everybody. Their mom doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And their very first job, they completely fuck up when Luigi accidentally breaks a beloved family dog's favorite toy.
And decides now is the time for violence.
I was dying by the time they were having it out with the dog in the bathroom. Like, I'm just going to be like, dog in bathroom during that beginning scene, best character in the whole movie.
Yeah. Not to say that he's the only good character.
Yeah. I am going to say that we're going to, talk about the plot. We're going to talk about things that we liked. We're going to talk about, canonicity, our thoughts on the voice actors and whatnot. But very big important. But yeah, so, they go home. Their mom is like, you go, boys. And dad is like, you're a terrible disappointment.
Well, actually, it was more just blunt. Like, truthful. And I was like, what
is your terrible disappointment not blunt?
Yeah.
From there, they you see Mario playing Kid Icarus, and then switches to the news when Luigi comes in, and they see that downtown Brooklyn is flooding. So they decide to go into the sewers. They find the warp pipe. They get accidentally sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom. They get separated, and from there, most of the movie focuses on Mario teaming up with Toad and Peach to save the Mushroom Kingdom from Bowser. With Bowser with Luigi basically being in Bowser's domain, and mostly being imprisoned in a cage with his only real chatty company being a very demented Luma, which actually happens to be Luma Lee, the shopkeeper from the Mario Galaxy games.
Mm-hmm.
Second best character right there, and I'll talk about why one of the best parts in a second. They decide to go to the Jungle Kingdom, home to the Kongs, which ties the two worlds together. But games like how they're like Link and Metroid Easter eggs and Super Mario RPG had already linked the various worlds together. So you could argue that wherever Congo Island is in the Donkey Kong Country series could be somehow linked to the Mushroom Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And we learn that the Kongs are responsible for go-karting in the Mario universe all along.
Yep.
And so, after Mario and Donkey Kong do combat, they pretty much all team up, get a bunch of go-karts, and ride. They literally go off a ramp into Rainbow Road, and Bowser's army ambushes them. Rainbow Road is destroyed by, and I looked this up, the blue-shelled paratrooper with like all the spikes called the Koopa General. So hashtag Koopa General for Mario Kart. I don't care if it comes to tour first and appears in a later game. Two things I'm going to say right now. At this point, Nintendo, we need Cranky Kong and Koopa General in Mario Kart after this movie. Make it happen. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the fans do what Nintendo don't. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Mario and Donkey Kong fall into the ocean, and Peach and Toad make their way back to the Mushroom Kingdom. Epic showdown with Bowser, references to Super Mario Odyssey and Bowser attempting to marry Peach. Everything goes south. Bowser tries to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom with a bonsai bill. Mario gets it to go into a warp pipe, blows up in the warp pipe, accidentally sucks everything from the Mushroom Kingdom into the real world. There's your Super Mario 93 tie-in. Mm-hmm. And then it all culminates in a big showdown where Mario and Luigi get the Superstar and do everything from every game, including ending with grabbing Bowser by the tail, swinging him around. So, sadly, and I'm just going to say this right now, I understand what Martinet was trying to say, but if you listen to the voice clip very carefully, nowhere does the word king appear. Like, there's a song by the Jet Blackberries called Love Under Will. And the last line of the first verse is, image of the future is just an image in your mind. You can hear it clear as day in the song. The words are crystal clear. The idiots who run Google translate it into something, vision of a ghost is just an image of your mind or something like that. It's like, no. He clearly says, so long, A. Bowser. Nowhere does the word A sound like king. It sounds close to gay, which is where the so long gay Bowser meme came from, but the line must have originally been king, and I guess Martinet maybe just fucked up the lines, and it came out as A instead, Mm-hmm. They don't say that, but they do swing him by the tail, toss him. He's given a mini mushroom, and Princess Peach gets her turtle. Everybody's impressed. The Mario Brothers are awesome. They say fuck you to everyone who gave them the old heave-ho in Brooklyn and moved to the Mushroom Kingdom. And best ending to a whole movie. Fade to black. Luma Lee comes up, makes some depressing quip about the nothing but endless void of nothing. Mm-hmm. Kind of just makes you want to play a saxophone, doesn't it?
And then whips it out.
Oh, I don't know how many people in the theater actually found that funny, but I was damn near on the floor when Luma Lee started playing the saxophone just before the end credits. Now, our friends Lou and Lindsay did walk out of the theater during the credits, so we did miss both the mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene, but I know both of what they are. I do want to view the movie a second time to see the see the scenes in person, But that's basically the plot of the movie in the nutshell, so let's move on. First, let's talk sequel. Honestly, I'm gonna say I don't think that Yoshi's Island is the way to go, because that would have to be more of a prequel. And with the post-credit scene setting up a Yoshi egg hatching in Brooklyn, I liken the idea of maybe a Super Mario World type bit with the trip to Dinosaur Land. What about you? What do you want to see sequel-wise?
Yeah, I definitely think that would be it, though. I think you and I actually had a bit of a discussion that I'd like to bring up.
Are you talking about Wart?
Yeah.
Nobody has ever given love to Super Mario Bros. 2 except the Super Show from 1989. And what I told him was, it's never going to happen, but it should happen. Somewhere in a parallel universe, Super Mario Bros. Movie 2 is set in Subcon with Wart as the main villain. That doesn't really explain the Yoshi tie-in, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but I do actually think, like, legitimately, the sequel probably will be more like Super Mario World. Like, you know.
I'm going to take it right now because we are going to be talking about canon and what, like canon in like the Super Mario store, in the world of Super Mario and everything. I was going to save this for later, but I'm going to say it now because you bring it up. Definitely got to put the Koopalings in if it's a Super Mario World for the sequel. I'm sorry to say it. You don't just change respected canon. The Koopalings are Bowser's children, no matter what Nintendo says. And for those of you who say what Nintendo says goes, feel free to tell me how you feel about that when Nintendo comes out with a brand new, completely different Legend of Zelda timeline, and Miyamoto says, this is what we're doing now for the timeline. And everything in an already overly complicated timeline is changed up and flipped around. Because if they can change the canonicity of a Mario character on a whim, like saying that, oh, the Koopalings used to be Bowser's kids, but now they're not, they can do the same to your beloved Zelda timeline. And those of you who worship the timeline, come at me. So as far as I'm concerned, Koopalings are Bowser's kids, end of discussion. As far as I'm concerned. You can't change my mind on that. Miyamoto can't change my mind on that.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good segue into canonicity.
Yeah.
Now, there is one thing, and I believe it was the YouTuber Nintendo Land. It was either Nintendo Land or Odyssey Central, because I watched videos by both of them. One of them brought up something that nobody else has brought up when talking about canonicity. And that is the mistake that was made in the scripting involving a certain ape in a tie. But I'm going to lay it out a little bit. I'm going to flesh it out a bit more. According to the Super Mario Wiki, when I looked up Donkey Kong Jr. To see how he differed from regular Donkey Kong in terms of getting a non-pixelated version of Mario Kart back, it's basically said that the Donkey Kong who wears a tie is the grandson of Cranky Kong and the father of Donkey Kong Jr. So here is, if that is officially canon, here's how this works. Cranky Kong is Donkey Kong Sr. Donkey Kong Jr. is obvious, making the current Donkey Kong the second. Yet, for some reason, despite the fact that regardless of how the canonicity of Jr. works as of right now, it's been forever. I'd have to pop my cartridge of Country back in my Super Nintendo, but I could swear if you go into Cranky Kong's hut in Congo Jungle, the first world of the game, he refers to Donkey Kong as his grandson. He was mistakenly referred to as Cranky Kong's son. It's not too big a deal, as I know somebody did mention in their review, might have been Arlo, but you know, I watch a lot of Nintendo YouTubers, a lot of big ones. Like I've watched the Game Theorist, I've watched Review Tech USA, so the three big ones I watched movie-wise about talking about the Super Mario movie were Arlo, Odyssey Central, and Nintendo Land. And one of them mentioned that the canonicity is all over the place to begin with, and that's fair. Canonically, the Mario Brothers have only ever been from Brooklyn in TV shows, cartoons, and books. They have never been from Brooklyn officially in the games, and all we have to go on is a suggestion from Miyamoto that Mario was born in the Mushroom Kingdom. That's the closest we have to Mario's official canonicity game-wise. And so, you know, it's not too big a deal, but there is one thing that drives me completely batshit insane. That is, remember the scene when Luigi got jump scared? Tell the audience what he got jump scared by.
Shy Guys.
And
A snippet.
now, canonically, Birdo and the Shy Guy. Well, Birdo at worst is canonically a part of Subcon. At first, you could say that the Shy Guys were a part of Subcon, but then in Yoshi's Island, the sequel to, or rather, the sequel to Super Mario World, but the prequel chronologically, Shy Guys are enemies there.
Mm-hmm.
And Bowser, as a toddler, is the main villain. So you can argue that the Shy Guys aren't necessarily canonical Subconian based, like Birdo, Mauser, Trouters, Ostros, Albatos, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But Sniffit only ever made one other appearance besides Super Mario Bros. 2, and that was as a partner in dual mode of Mario Party 3. So what the hell is a Sniffit, very obviously a canonically Subconian enemy, doing amidst a gaggle of Shy Guys?
I don't know, though I'm guessing more than likely, if I was to make a guess to it, it was basically to make him look like the leader of that, considering that Snippets and Shy Guys, aside from the masks, look very similar.
What are your thoughts on the canonicity? Like, was there anything canonic from Mario canon that drove you nuts?
Not really, no, because when I went into this movie, I expected to treat it as its own canon. Mm-hmm. It's usually the way that I do things when I'm approaching something like this, just so that I can enjoy the movie instead of, thinking on it.
I think with Illumination, they took ideas from games and just like, oh, this character is in a Mario game. Let's put it in, because Pauline, we've never known what Pauline does. Pauline dates back to Donkey Kong, where she was called Lady, Beautiful Girl, etc. Mm-hmm. She has always been just Mario's first love. Mm-hmm. The closest she was ever to being a mayor was the mayor of New Donk City in Odyssey. Mm-hmm. So you could argue that New Donk City is the real world, and they travel to Brooklyn somehow, despite the Mushroom Kingdom being found through a warp zone. But seeing Pauline as the mayor gives a little bit more non-Odyssey based, to Pauline as a character in general. We can say that Pauline has always been a mayor type of character. Mm-hmm. The Mario Brothers movie is the first time outside of outside, because I believe Donkey Kong takes place in New York in a construction site. Mm-hmm. So Pauline being in the Mushroom Kingdom's world in Odyssey, and Pauline also existing in the real world, it's I think this adds to the canonicity of its own. Maybe once Pauline was the mayor of Brooklyn, she found her way through a warp zone and became the mayor of New Donk City. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that actually does build on, it gives Nintendo canonicity for characters that haven't been as fleshed out to work with, because outside of Mario and Donkey Kong, first time seeing Pauline outside of her original appearances back in the 80s and 90s, she's making a comeback. Mm-hmm. I know that some people are speculating she won't be in Mario Kart 8's DLC because she's not a returning character. She's technically new via tour, but I still think she's popular enough that people are going to rage and riot if she's not added to the DLC roster in Mario Kart. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What should we move on to next?
What we liked about it.
All right. I thought the humor was on point. There were a lot of really cool Easter eggs. The one that got me was at the very beginning. It's when they were watching their commercial, and I just heard the plumber rap play. I was like, I cannot believe that. I was expecting the majority of references to be from the games. Outside of people talking about it on YouTube, maybe finding the occasional snippet in a YouTube clip or something. Does anybody even remember the Super Mario Brothers Super Show? And the plumber rap, that was the theme song of the show. And even though I was born in '87 and didn't really watch too much of the show unless I watched it in reruns as a kid in the '90s and just don't remember, I was like, oh my god, that is such an old reference, and I fucking love it. I'll take this time to say that my dumbass deleted the text from Lou. He did want to put his 2 cents in. He liked the DK rap introducing Donkey Kong during the fight scene. He liked he also liked all the game references and the nostalgia it brought up for him. I will make sure that he pokes his head into this video and makes some time to comment his exact thoughts and will chastising me for forgetting what he told me to pass along to you viewers. But yeah, I like the humor. I like the references. I absolutely thought that Mario realizing, like, I'm a cat! I'm a cat. And then completely wrecking Donkey Kong's like, so, Donkey Kong, you had enough?
Not even close.
I'll call that a big yes. What'd you like?
Well, I did like all the references that were there. I also liked a lot of the visual gags. One of the things that I really liked, remember when they are running to their first job?
Yeah.
Yeah, and their job, if you pay attention, is kind of looks like they are going through level 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like literally a restaurant. I forget what it was called. I think it was Pizza Castle.
Well, I know the name of the pizzeria where they were harassed by Spike was called Punch Out Pizzeria.
I was referring to the one that looks like one of the Bowser castles that you go to. Yeah. And literally also going down a flagpole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
I was watching a video on Easter eggs you missed, and I missed the Punch-Out characters on the wall. I watched a video recently that showed the Punch-Out characters on the wall. I took one look at the leftmost photo. I jumped up and screamed at the computer, Bear Hugger! Like, Super Punch-Out, Bear Hugger was always a nightmare for me to fight. I could never figure out how to dodge his attacks and when the right opening to punch him and do damage to him was. So, yeah. Bear Hugger is my is to me what Khan is to Spock. Mm-hmm. Khan, Bear Hugger. Mm-hmm. Were there any references you missed?
Definitely was the Punch-Out one. I definitely missed that. In terms of other ones, I don't really think any that really stood out.
Mm-hmm. One that I also missed, but that Brent caught, was that the sewer had a plaque on it that read level 1-2.
Yeah.
How did I fucking miss that?
I don't know. I don't know how you missed that. But
if we get a chance to go back to the theater with other people and watch it again, I am keeping an eye out for that.
Yeah. But in terms of other things, as Gear said, humor is definitely really on point. And also, I do have to say, credits to them. Well, I mean, Illumination always does really well with their animation, but it was really good. I'm not overly fond of the Minions, but the Illumination logo with the Minion and the go-kart, bing, 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 and then the go-kart won't start. And then he smacks it and it explodes. That got a chuckle out of me. I will admit that got a chuckle out of me. Yeah, that got a chuckle out of me too. Yeah. What are some of your dislikes from the film? Let me think. I mean, I'm just thinking for a moment because I'm trying to think of things that are actual dislikes or just small pet peeves. My biggest dislike as a pet peeve, I'll say right now, is just not doing their homework and just assuming that Cranky Kong was Donkey Kong's son. Unless Miyamoto told them that as a joke and they took it seriously, in which, shame on you. Yeah, actually speaking on that, I have no idea why, but I did not like Cranky Kong's voice. I don't know everything about it, but I know, have you heard of a comedian named Fred Armistad? No. Have you heard of a show called Portlandia? No. He's best known for that. That's who voiced Cranky Kong, Fred Armistad. Yeah, but nothing against it. It's just, I looked at the design, I heard the voice. For some reason, it just didn't match. Yeah, true. That could just be me. Who do you imagine Cranky Kong
being Fred Armisen. This is the guy who voiced him.
Yeah, again, no offense to Fred Armisen. It's just when I see Frank Kong and I hear that voice, to me, it just doesn't seem like it matches.
Who do you feel matching him?
I don't know who would on the top of my head, but...
Dead celebrities count.
Jeez, I don't know. I would have to listen to a lot of old, voices just to figure that out. But again, it's just
You're the man now, dog. I fucking went there. I shot Connor in your ass.
Yeah, I know. But again, as I'm saying, no offense intended to the guy. Mm-hmm. He did a good job. It's just, I can't, when I saw his design and then heard his voice, it's what?
Segueing into character voices, I do think, in general, the entire cast did great. I did miss that Charles Martinet was the father of Mario, because I'm so used to him doing that faux Italian accent, and I only ever spoke to him extremely briefly once at Florida SuperCon 2016. So for me, it was I did not make the connection, but it's first off, going into character voices, here's an open letter to Kevin Michael Richardson. And I hope one day in behind-the-scenes interviews he gets to answer this because somebody brings it up. What was with the Peter Lorre impersonation for most of Kamek's lines? Master, the plans are ready. I am Kamek. I mean, I know he's a talented voice actor, and usually when you hear his normal voice, like when he's doing Principal Lewis in American Dad, for example, or Gantu from Lilo and Stitch. Mm-hmm. But then he's also good at doing other voices. It's to me, I always picture Kamek being voiced by the guy who did Weisenheimer. It's always there. You'll never get away with this, Weisenheimer. It's Weisenheimer. For some reason, I imagine, even if Kevin Michael Richardson is doing it, I just imagine Kamek having more of a Weisenheimer voice from the Super Mario World cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. He still did a good job. He was trying to hold the Peter Lorre impersonation, and then Bowser slams the piano lid shut on Kamek's fingers, and Richardson just drops the impersonation and just tries to sound like he's in pain. And, nothing wrong with the impersonation, but it's just he did a great job. I was unaware until I went back over the cast of Jack. I don't think of Jack Black doing voices. I just think of his normal voice whenever he acts or voice acts, Mm-hmm. So I was surprised that I had forgotten from the early stages that he was voicing Bowser, but I think he did a good job.
Yeah, truth be told, I really didn't see Jack Black, him per se, saying as Bowser. The first time I ever I knew who it was, but the first time it's you can tell that's Jack Black is when he's doing the song.
Yeah.
Which I will say I don't hate, but it felt a little cringe to me. But I think that was the intention.
Lou's been all over Instagram Peaches, 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 and I'm just
Peaches what?
That boy loves the movie.
I get it. It was supposed to be like that. I completely understand, but still.
So dialing back, Richardson, Kevin Michael Richardson, how do you feel with him as Kamek?
I thought he did a great job.
Mm-hmm. We've already been over your thoughts on Armisen. Honestly, I thought he was okay. Even if he wasn't the best role for the part, I still think he did a good job of doing what he was handed.
Yeah, that's it's not what he did. He did a good job. It's just for some reason.
It just doesn't match.
Yeah.
Now moving on, Donkey Kong. I will say I've never been too fond of Seth Rogen screaming and screeching politics and trying to everything he does being political. So I'm glad that he was respectful enough to just give the lines he was handed, because I think he did a good Donkey Kong. A lot of people are saying, I don't always like Seth Rogen as a person, or I don't always like his acting, but he did good, So, my first thought when I heard that Seth Rogen was playing Donkey Kong way back in October of 21, when we first heard information about the movie, the cast, I was wait, what is Donkey Kong doing in the movie to begin with? This is a movie about Mario and the Mushroom Kingdom. Donkey Kong only appears in the spin-off stuff. What's he doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Turns out the Kongs invented go-kart racing in the Mario world.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think of Seth Rogen's performance?
Seth Rogen's performance, I thought he did well, too.
Mm-hmm. Next two big ones we're going to go with are Chris Pratt and Charlie Day. I don't know too much about Charlie Day. I just know he's on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But the one I want to focus on is Chris Pratt. Some people have pointed out online, you can't really talk like this for an hour and a half at a 2.5 hour movie. And I agree, and the fact that it uses the canonicity of Brooklyn, I feel like his natural voice, Chris Pratt, did kind of sound to me a little bit like Lou Albano from the Super Show. Mm-hmm. And Lou Albano, I think he's New York based, actually. I think he was born in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know he's Italian American.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Pratt was a good choice for not doing an actual stereotypical Italian accent. In terms of somebody Brooklyn based, I think they did a good job. I always preferred Albano's portrayal of Mario in the animated series over Walker Boone in the other two. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Pratt and Day?
I think they both did amazing jobs. I mean, when it first came out and it was real that Chris Pratt was going there, and the first spoken line that Mario has in the trailers came out, I do know that people were very cautious about it.
I heard that a lot of the dialogue from the trailers was cut from the actual film.
Yeah, I did not hear almost anything from except for maybe Toad's lines, but that's about it.
Before we move on to Toad, though, the first time I heard Pratt as Mario was when I was skipping an ad on a YouTube video, and it was the trailer for the Mario movie, and it's the trailer where Mario is going through the Mushroom Kingdom. He's like, "Nice pipes." They're like, "Ah, that voice doesn't sound too bad." But yeah, speaking of Toad, Keegan-Michael Key. I feel like Keegan-Michael Key has played Mario games because it seemed to me like he was trying to emulate Toad's voice from the video games.
Yeah.
But not as annoying and grating.
Yeah.
I like how he was trying to stick to what the voice sounds like, but not getting super screechy. I have a friend up in Orlando. His name is James. He likes to impersonate Toad, and I'm just like, dude, that's my good ear you're screaming into. Mm-hmm. So it's like what they do with Toad's voice is a bit much in the games. And I think that they should take a page from Keegan-Michael Key's book and kind of tone down the gratingness a little, but still try to keep the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I am going to say though, in terms of the advisor in the War Room, why not Toadsworth?
That is a very good question. I never thought that.
I would love to have seen Toadsworth with the right British actor, giving the right gruffness to the voice, maybe Patrick Stewart because he's a little older now, you know. But I would have loved to have seen something like, "Princess, Bowser has found the superstar, and he's going to take over the Mushroom Kingdom. I am simply beside myself with worry." I mean, I know that they made Peach a little... Peach has been playable in games before. So she's, had the role of heroine before.
Yeah.
So I think they like to amp that up, that's why she's such a good ruler, because she's liable to get kidnapped, but if you don't get the drop on her, she'll beat your ass, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe they felt that Toad being, a giant worrywart... Anytime Toadsworth is in a game, Peach is usually kidnapped.
Yeah.
Anytime Peach is playable outside Mario Party, Toadsworth is nowhere to be found. But I still think it would have been cool. Toadsworth, you worry too much. As for Anya Taylor-Joy, I don't know too much about her. I only heard about her in recent years. I think, is she a new actress? How long has she been around?
I don't know how long, and honestly, I've never really heard the name.
That was my first taste of Anya Taylor-Joy in an acting role. I think she did a good job.
She did a really good job.
Like, I know that, like, with like live action TV and movies, you would people audition for the part and like the director picks who they think is best. It's the same thing with voice acting. I gotta say, the people behind the scenes setting everything up, they did an all-star job. Like, they picked a stellar cast. Even minor characters that had minimal speaking roles. Like, I looked up the name of the actress who played Luma Lee. Even on the Mario wiki, it's like a red link, meaning the page doesn't exist.
Yeah. I'm
actually wondering if it's one of those adult actresses that can make a youthful voice, or if it was actually a child actress playing Luma Lee, because Luma Lee had a very, I want to say, elementary, middle school age sounding voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought that, like, with like the cutesy voice and like the demented ideals that come out of this Luma's mind is what made the character and the voice just that good. Like,
we're all prisoners inside our own minds.
Exactly. It's like dark humor, maybe a little bit adultish right there, but like it was fucking epic the way that they did the, like, if I had a kid that was like first, second grade and they came up to me and said, "We're all prisoners in our own mind," I would be like, "Oh, okay. I am not that much of a stereotypical goth. Has your mother been feeding you these ideas?"
What have they been teaching you in school, young man?
Or young lady, if I have a daughter, you know?
Yeah, I know.
But, like, the base idea is, like, I am not that dark. If I marry a woman that dark one day, I'm fingers crossed I get married and whatnot, you know, and, like, I'm sorry, anything that dark and demented comes out of my child's mouth, they got it from their mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're only going to get the sick, raunchy, wacky humor from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else about the movie?
There is one other thing that I'm not really a fan of, but this is on my own personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of am a person who prefers original music as opposed to licensed music being used in there.
You mean like Take On Me?
Yeah.
Well, we all know that the song that nobody knows about but has been played in the radio before, "I've Been Losing You," is the premier AHA song. Please now, talk to me, tell me. Seriously, AHA is not a one-hit wonder.
Mm-hmm.
They're what I call a faux one-hit wonder. It's like the Human League. They have great songs like Keep Feeling Fascination. Human is an amazing song about a couple who are apart, cheat on each other, and beg each other forgiveness because they're only human. Mm-hmm. But whenever anybody thinks the Human League, all they want to hear is "Don't You Want Me?" Mm-hmm. And I'm just sitting there like, I swear to God, if you don't play Keep Feeling Fascination for a good upbeat tune, I am walking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as I said, that's more just like a preference of mine. Yeah. It's not like enough to, like, you know, a major critique. It's just...
I mean, what they did with the actual game music in the film was great, though.
Oh, the game music I'm not talking about.
I know. But Super Nintendo Rainbow Road was great.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't even talk about that. Like, those things were awesome.
Okay, during the scene where the Mario Kart 8 menu music is playing, I was like, okay, I know it's Mario Kart music. Where is it from? It took me like 5 whole minutes up to the point where they were getting into their carts and Toad was pulling up in that comically large buggy with like the sunglasses and the deal with it meme going on.
Yeah.
That's what, oh wait, that's the menu music.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think it's awesome. Like, to me, my favorite Rainbow Road has always been the one from 64, like, do 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 do. I cannot hit those fucking high notes, but, you know, like, that's always been my personal favorite Rainbow Road track, but I love the throwback, because, like, nowadays people, with the dawn of the internet, are realizing that Rainbow Road debuted in Super Mario Kart, but at a time when people didn't know that Super Mario Kart was a thing, it's like Rainbow Road dates all the way back to the beginning, so, like, that's just origins for some music right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, as with licensed music, it's like, I think when it comes, like, if an actual band writes a song for a film, that's one thing, you know? I mean, it's still licensed to them because they're the band.
Yeah, but that's like...
Yeah.
But that's like, it was made for the specific like thing. I'm more referring to things that you would hear on the radio.
Yeah.
And it was literally made for that sort of
thing. That also drives me batshit because I love Oliver and Company's opening, Once Upon a Time in New York City.
Yeah.
Did you know that Disney never let Huey Lewis and the News put it on an album, not even a best of, or release it as a single?
No.
And yet, bands like SSQ and The Cramps and even Jet Blackberries wrote songs for Return of the Living Dead, and they were able to, like Jet Blackberries' Love Under Will was a single, not on any of their albums. SSQ re-released Tonight We'll Make Love Till We Die, which is the theme of the punk girl trash in the film.
Right.
When they did the deluxe re-release of their 80s album Playback in 2014, it was included on the new track list,
right?
Including remix, and even the Cramps are able to get what the Surfing Dead was wrote for the film, and it's like they got it onto a fucking album of their own. It's like that's one thing that, like, if I hear a song in a movie that I like, then I know it's by an actual band and not written as part of the original score. And I can't find it anywhere as a single. Like, don't even get me started on Bumpin' the Night from Witchboard. Great song. There's not even a single or a soundtrack for the film. Like, you want to get that song on your... You can't even get it on Spotify. You want to listen to that song? You have got to purchase a copy of Witchboard, open it on your phone when it's Bluetooth to your car, and skip to the end of the film just to listen to the song.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, honestly, I did agree with the people online who said Take On Me was out of place during the kart racing. Like, even though I will say that, you know, Aha, it's overplayed because people think Aha is a one-hit wonder, that's all they want to hear. It's like... At the same time, good beat, you know, good tune, but what the hell was it doing in the movie, let alone that scene?
Exactly.
Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, other than that, you know, I think for the most part the music was decent. I couldn't count how many licensed songs I remember off the top of my head. That's like another, like, you know, go back and view it again and count it, you know?
Yeah, but aside from the licensed stuff, like all the other music, original remixes of like, or based off of like the actual like soundtracks. Those I loved. Those were great. Like one of my favorite like little gags from there is when Bowser and Kamek are playing the piano and they're literally playing. Exactly.
Can I get my fingers out of here now?
No, pain is its good teacher. But yeah, like, I loved how they just went into that.
I am going to say that, overall, it was a solid movie. I give it a solid 8 out of 10.
I would too.
Yeah.
Definitely something that's, like, worthy of being rewatched.
I plan to get the DVD when it comes out on DVD and whatnot. Yeah, it's like, and I after the disaster that was the 93 film, and Nintendo was like, yeah, no more TV shows, no more cartoons, no more movies, and then they come around almost 30 years later, we're going to give it a second try. I really hope that this works out well. I think, I know some people have said they want to see Metroid, but that's all about isolation. You can't just have Samus working with people and tell the story of Metroid. Yeah, but for games like Zelda, maybe even Kirby, if they do it right, I could see if they team up with Illumination or even a couple of other animation studios. After what happened with the Super Mario Brothers movie, I think they finally found a way to bring Nintendo IP to the big screen. You know?
They took a risk. It worked. They have a chance to expand if they want to.
Yeah. And the last thing that we have to touch on...
Considering how much money it's making.
Yeah. And that's the last thing we have to touch on. Like, critics are being like, it's not political. It's not preaching a political message. Big fucking deal. It's not some. It's a fictional movie based off a video game. Just let it be mindless entertainment. We want to watch it to escape what we read about in the news, what we see on TV. I don't want to sit around after reading news articles about all the bullshit that goes on in the real world, only to have, I don't care if it's left-leaning and I don't care if it's right-leaning. If you're putting some sort of viewpoint from Democratic or Republican standpoint in my face, in my fictional media, when I'm trying to take a break from reality, fuck you.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say before you went into yours was that, like, who cares?
Exactly. The movie is good. It stands on its own as a great video game adaptation, which again is really rare. A video game is a very personal experience, like it's interactive. So that's, I mean, I think the biggest offenders that have been the hardest to adapt have been films like fighting-based films like Tekken, Mortal Kombat. Like, they could have made it work with Double Dragon. Mm-hmm. And somehow the Double Dragon movie fucked up back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's like, not everything has to be political, regardless of what your affiliation or viewpoint is, you know? But don't say that it's a bad movie just because it is apolitical. It's not taking a political stance because, one, Japan doesn't care about politics outside of their own country. Mm-hmm. And two, not everything has to be political. The movie is great. It's the first movie I stopped going to the movies after people were whining and bitching up, this is too right-leaning, or, oh, this is too left-leaning. I barely watch any new TV or movies. This is the first time in, like, almost 20 years that I've actually gone to... The last movie I recall seeing in theaters was Gangster Squad in 2013.
Wow.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, you remember the scene where they do the jailbreak and, like, the bumper falls off the car, but the bars in the window don't come off?
Yeah.
The entire theater was roaring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, no, wait, sorry. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 was my last trip to the theater, because I went with you, Andrew, and Devin.
Yeah.
That was back when I was dating Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. It's like, I like to watch a movie that is just gonna distract me. It's like we play video games to get away from the real world. We play Dungeons and Dragons or a board game of some kind to get away from the real world.
Exactly.
We watch fictional TV that isn't set in a present-day universe to get away from the real world. Mm-hmm. Entertainment is meant to be distracting, and I think that's another one of the reasons the movie works so well. And the critics who aren't bitching about the politics, they're just like, I don't get this movie at all. If you don't get the movie, you're probably not that much of a gamer, at least in my opinion. If you're a gamer and you don't get it, I don't know what to say, but if you are not a gamer and you don't get it, I can understand why you'd be like, what the fuck is this shit? Mm-hmm. But I personally think it's great. And like I said, definitely gonna get the DVD. If I'm given an opportunity to go see it a second time in theaters before it's out of theaters, I will do it again. Mm-hmm. Before we wrap it up and call it, quick announcements. As you know, with the new channel, we've been taking one day a week to film the following week's uploads. Brent's going out of town on Friday, April 28th, so there will be no Sunday stream on the 23rd, because we're going to be filming the week of the 24th on Saturday, the 23rd, and the first week of May, to compensate for Brett being out of town, we're going to be filming, we're basically, this coming weekend, the 22nd and 23rd of April, we're going to be back-to-back filming 6 straight Let's Plays. So, as a result, there's not going to be a Sunday stream on the 22nd. Brent gets back in town after a 4-hour drive up to Tampa, probably in the evening. So next 2 weeks, no Sunday stream. I might try to stream something on my own if I can be amusing enough, like on the 30th is Sunday.
You can be amusing, Gear. I know.
Yeah. I mean, but like, okay, Friday the 28th. That Sunday is the 30th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might take one for the team, but that's the recording schedule. That's the streaming schedule for the duration of May, and we will see you tomorrow in the upload of our current Let's Play.
Yep.
All right. Let us know if you've seen the movie. Let us know in the comments what you think of the movie. Share your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about and anything that we didn't talk about that you want to discuss. And we will see you in the next stream.
Goodbye.
Bye.